In the year 2025, young men live in a world filled with abundance. We have unprecedented access to food, shelter, entertainment. Yet the statistics show this is the most depressed we have ever been. In spite of having easy access to everything that should make us satisfied and content, we're not. We see more and more young men stricken by internal despair and loneliness, and a lot of them don't even know the cause or how to handle it. So, when you feel lost internally, what do? You look to the external for answers. You look to the world for answers. But there's a problem with that. You see, the world that we live in, it's not here to help you at all. Our current society and way of living, it's evil. The majority of the modern world, it exists to destroy us. As men, it exists to destroy us and make us as weak as possible. Porn, video games, social media, fast food, all of those things exist to keep us weak. The majority of men are addicted to intangible and destructive ideas. The people at the top of the food chain, they take advantage of our brain's reward system. As much as we understand that we have to, avoid instant gratification, invest in the long term, these people know this too. The companies, the people at the top ladder of society, they know this. And they don't want us to know it, but they know we know it. So, what do they open your eyes to this, right? The world perfectly optimizes the amount of pleasure we consume, so we become addicted and consistently create endless flows of money for them. It's a theory. It's not true. It's just conjecture. Okay, bro. Alright, bro. It's just conjecture. Why would you want to build customer trust when you can make a product so good the customer can't even say no? And most men fall for it. Legitimately, most men, they just, even if they're aware of it, they don't care. Because why would you? Nah, it's never gonna be me. I'm still gonna be successful. I'm still gonna be able to watch my porn. I'm still going to smoke my weed. Fuck around if I want to. I'm still gonna be successful. It won't be me. I'm the special snowflake. Aight, bro. You keep hearing these things constantly repeated in the world. All guys watch porn, we need to be more open about sex. Be more body positive. Weed is harmless. It helps me with my anxiety. What made you anxious in the first place, dog? Come on. You weren't born that way. Right? Before you try to find out what made you anxious in the first place, you're studying to use some drug to help you with that. What? And deep dog, you know it's wrong. Bro. You know that f***ing yourself over. Come on. You know you're meant to be more in your life. And it's not even your fault really, because the way addiction works, yes, okay, at the first time you open yourself up to these external forces, but once you're already in its grasp, once you've been misled, it's almost impossible to come out, because why would you? Especially when it's these things where it's able to come out like weed and porn, right? You're able to, it's not like heroin, you can escape it, but the world doesn't think it's that bad. You think you could live with these indulgences, but I don't know. I don't know. They have these men that they say they're depressed. But, look at yourself in the mirror. I would be depressed too. I was depressed too. But just a few years ago, like between 14 and 17, as I said, I was a loser. I was consuming my weed, my lust, and the friends I had around me, they were all in the same boat. So we all thought it was normal. We just lived like that. But then when we go home, when we're not around those friends, when we have to go home to ourselves, because at the end of the day, that's who you go home to, yourself, you're sad. You're alone. Because you put so much investment and time into nothing. Because that's what it leads to, nothing. I don't know if that is mathsing, but part of it, I can say for me, is because I didn't have anyone really to properly guide me or tell me the things that I'm telling you. Those years during COVID, especially, isolated, especially with a weak social foundation. Nah, man, so many wrong decisions. I hurt myself and other people I cared about in so many different ways. I don't want to talk about it. So I don't want to talk about it. Maybe in the next video. But even in all that darkness, right, I still found a light. No one came to save me. No one came to save me. I get to feel proud about that. No one came to save me, but I still found light, and you can too. I was able to save myself. Me, some average person, nothing is special about me. Nothing. But I was able to save myself from the darkest pits life could give me. You see, right now, with the way the world is, I think I could put the majority of men on like a slider, right? So let's put up a slider right there. On one end, we have the lost, those that have been consumed by the world entirely, and they're unable to change themselves, or may not even realize that they need to. And on the other end, we have the unbound. These are men that are unshakable in their resolve to not only resist the vices of the world, but also to continuously strive for success in all aspects of life and seek to lift others into their success along with them. Now, the majority of men exist somewhere in between these two archetypes, right? Some are closer to being lost, some are closer to being unbound. The point is that there's something to fight for. There truly is. Not all is lost, man. You'll realize that all of a sudden, as you grow closer to being unbound by the world, all the crippling problems that you have, they start to fade, Thanos snap, they start to, they start to fade. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, insecurity, low self-esteem, it vanishes. And here's the thing, a lot of you probably don't even have these problems. A lot of you are probably strong, confident, respectable men, And that brings me to my next point. The world makes strong men evil. Say you're 20 years old. You just started university. You spent a lot of time as a teenager, working out, learning how to be charming, confident. And maybe you even managed to quit porn. Hopefully, you're the rare few. You're the rare few. Most people meet you and they respect you. They think you're cool, right? But at the same time, you like going to parties. You enjoy vaping and smoking weed. You enjoy giving women attention and sleeping around. No one judges you. In fact, a lot of men, they would see that and think, wait, she's really cool. Whoa. Well, guess what? You might not feel it right now, but bro, you're killing your purpose. You're absolutely destroying it, You think you're real and girl? You think you're like giving a girl a back shot? No, you're giving your purpose a back shot. Oh my god. These indulgences, while fun, it distracts you, a strong, ambitious man, from being able to act or having the drive to act, Our purpose and ambition, the amount of energy and bravery it requires, like going to these parties, smoking this weed, all these girlfriends, they do nothing but just suck up all our energy. Literally, for Somalia. Literally, all these women are sucking up our purpose. Come on. And eventually, when you get a little bit older, you'll probably cool down the partying, but then you realize all the drugs and alcohol that start to catch up with your body, you'll find it hard to stay in a committed relationship because you never learned how to commit and control your desire. So now, okay, fine, you have plenty girl, but now when you want a wife, you find you can't trust her properly. You're thinking, oh woman is shit, you know? Men that never grew away from their adolescent indulgences, they often become better. Mostly because they know they're washed. They've built such a high ego and reputation in the youth that they think it transfers later in life. It doesn't. The person we are in the present is built on a foundation of the investments we make in our past and all the lessons we learned. But if we spend all our time lost and committed to bad investments and growing in the wrong areas in life, we won't grow properly. We'll be shells of the potential that we could have had. And we do have a clock. It's common for people to say, no, it's never too late, you could always start. And to a point that is true, but you really want to be 50 and you now trying to make it big on YouTube. Come on, dog. Come on. You gotta be 30 and you know started the YouTube channel. Really? Alright, bro. Alright, dog. And that's the thing. The world, it wants nothing more than to see the destruction of men that could have changed it.